The dramatic encounter between Salma Hayek and Kelly Clarkson unfolded on a seemingly ordinary episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show, where the atmosphere initially buzzed with warmth and celebrity charm. Salma, dressed in an elegant flowing dress that highlighted her timeless beauty, entered the stage to thunderous applause from the audience, her smile radiant as she hugged Kelly tightly. The conversation began innocently enough, touching on Salma's latest film projects, her advocacy for women's rights, and light-hearted anecdotes about her family life with François-Henri Pinault. Kelly, ever the enthusiastic host, praised Salma's resilience in Hollywood as a Latina actress who broke barriers, sharing clips from Desperado and Frida that drew cheers. But beneath the surface pleasantries, a subtle tension simmered, perhaps fueled by recent media scrutiny over ageism and representation in entertainment. As they delved deeper into Salma's career trajectory, Kelly posed a question about how Salma navigated the industry's double standards, seemingly innocuous but laced with an undercurrent that Salma immediately sensed. The audience leaned forward, unaware that this pivot would ignite a spark. Salma responded thoughtfully at first, recounting her early struggles against typecasting and the fight for authentic roles, her voice steady yet passionate. Kelly nodded empathetically, but then shifted gears, bringing up a past comment Salma had made years ago about beauty standards and how some celebrities play the victim card in discussions of sexism. This remark, pulled from an old interview clip shown briefly on screen, caught Salma off guard. Her expression changed subtly, eyes narrowing as she processed the implication that her own long-standing advocacy might be dismissed as exaggeration. The studio lights felt harsher in that moment, the laughter from earlier fading into an expectant hush. Salma leaned back slightly, composing herself, while Kelly pressed on, asking if Salma believed the industry had truly changed or if stars like her sometimes amplified issues for attention. This line, delivered with Kelly's signature candor but perceived as accusatory, struck a nerve. Salma's response was measured initially, defending her experiences with data on gender pay gaps and lack of opportunities for older women and women of color, but the tone escalated when she felt the question bordered on invalidating real discrimination. The exchange grew heated as Salma challenged Kelly directly, pointing out that privileged positions in media sometimes blind hosts to systemic problems. The audience shifted uncomfortably, sensing the shift from friendly banter to confrontation. Salma's voice rose, not in anger but in firm conviction, asserting that her fiery reputation came from refusing to stay silent on injustice. Kelly attempted to steer back to lighter topics, but the damage was done. Salma felt the accusation implied she was dramatic or opportunistic rather than principled. In a surge of emotion, Salma stood up abruptly, microphone still in hand, declaring that she would not participate in a conversation that undermined survivors of industry bias. The crowd gasped as she turned toward the exit, her steps deliberate and unhurried, leaving Kelly momentarily stunned at the desk, approximately 2,480 characters. As Salma made her way off stage, the cameras captured every second of the unprecedented walk-off, her posture straight and dignified despite the chaos erupting behind her. Kelly, recovering quickly, called after her with a mix of concern and surprise, saying, "Salma, wait, let's talk about this," but the actress did not turn back. The audience erupted in a mix of murmurs, some applauding Salma's stand while others sat in shocked silence. Backstage, crew scrambled, unsure whether to intervene, as producers watched from the wings with wide eyes. Salma paused briefly near the curtain, taking a deep breath to steady herself, her mind racing through decades of battles in Hollywood, from being objectified in her early roles to fighting for creative control later in her career. She later reflected that the accusation felt like a personal attack disguised as journalism, especially coming from another woman who had publicly shared her own struggles. Meanwhile, on set, Kelly addressed the audience directly, her voice cracking slightly as she explained that the show valued open dialogue but never intended to offend. She apologized if her words came across harshly, emphasizing her admiration for Salma's trailblazing work. The segment cut to commercial abruptly, leaving viewers at home buzzing with speculation. Social media exploded instantly, with hashtags like #SalmaWalksOff and #KellyClarksonDrama trending within minutes. Clips circulated rapidly, some edited to highlight Salma's powerful exit, others focusing on Kelly's stunned reaction. Fans defended both sides. Supporters of Salma praised her for refusing to be gaslit, while Kelly's loyal audience argued the host was merely playing devil's advocate to spark meaningful discussion. Analysts dissected the moment, noting how talk shows thrive on vulnerability but risk alienating guests when boundaries are crossed. Salma, once in her dressing room, reportedly spoke calmly to her team, expressing no regret but sadness that a platform for empowerment turned confrontational. She issued no immediate statement, choosing instead to let the footage speak for itself. Kelly, finishing the episode with visible emotion, dedicated a later segment to women's solidarity, urging viewers to listen more deeply. The incident became a flashpoint in broader conversations about media accountability, celebrity interviews, and the fine line between probing questions and personal attacks. In the hours following the walk-off, the entertainment world dissected every nuance of the exchange, replaying the pivotal accusation that sparked the departure. The fiery accusation stemmed from Kelly's suggestion that some high-profile women, including implied references to Salma's past statements, might exaggerate claims of sexism to maintain relevance in a post-#MeToo era. Salma had once critiqued how beauty fades in Hollywood's eyes for women over 40, and Kelly's phrasing twisted it into an insinuation of playing victimhood for sympathy. This resonated painfully for Salma, who had spent years proving her talent beyond her looks, earning an Oscar nomination for Frida and producing successful films. The accusation felt reductive, ignoring her contributions as an activist and businesswoman. Public reaction split sharply. Progressive outlets hailed Salma's exit as a powerful rejection of tone-deaf interviewing, while tabloids sensationalized it as diva behavior. YouTube channels uploaded reaction videos titled, "Salma Hayek Destroys Kelly Clarkson," or, "Kelly Clarkson Calls Out Salma Hayek," amassing millions of views overnight. Celebrities weighed in subtly on social media, some posting solidarity emojis with Salma, others praising Kelly's honesty. Salma's husband, Francois Henri, shared a cryptic post about strength in silence, fueling speculation. Kelly's team released a statement expressing regret for any hurt caused, reaffirming commitment to respectful conversations. Behind closed doors, both women reportedly received counsel from publicists on next steps. Salma chose quiet reflection, focusing on upcoming projects like her work with Chime for Change, while Kelly doubled down on authenticity in her hosting style. The episode's ratings spiked dramatically when it aired, proving controversy drives viewership but also risking long-term trust. Industry insiders whispered about potential boycotts or future guest hesitancy, wondering if this moment signaled a shift in how talk shows handle sensitive topics. Salma later confided to close friends that walking off was instinctive, a boundary she wished more women felt empowered to set. The event underscored the evolving dynamics between hosts and guests in an era of heightened awareness around power imbalances, approximately 2,470 characters. Days turned into weeks as the fallout from the dramatic walk-off continued to ripple through Hollywood and beyond, shaping narratives around feminism, media ethics, and celebrity accountability. Salma maintained a dignified silence initially, allowing the public to form opinions based on the unedited clip rather than spin. When she finally addressed it in a carefully worded Instagram post, she emphasized that her departure was not about ego but about self-respect, refusing to engage in dialogue that diminished lived experiences of marginalization. She thanked supporters and reiterated her love for open conversations when rooted in mutual respect. Kelly, in a follow-up episode, devoted time to the incident without defensiveness, admitting she could have phrased her question more thoughtfully and expressing genuine admiration for Salma's courage over the years. She invited viewers to share their thoughts on how interviews should balance probing with empathy. This mea culpa softened some criticism, with many appreciating her willingness to reflect publicly. The two women never publicly reconciled on air, but sources close to both suggested private messages of understanding were exchanged, acknowledging the intensity of the moment without assigning blame. The incident sparked academic discussions in media studies programs, with professors using the clip to illustrate performative allyship versus genuine advocacy. Podcasts dissected it endlessly, some calling it a turning point for daytime television's approach to tough topics. Salma's career showed no signs of slowing. If anything, the visibility boosted interest in her advocacy work, leading to increased donations for her causes. Kelly's show continued thriving, though with noticeably more cautious guest segments on sensitive issues. Fans created memes, fan edits, and even fictional reconciliation scenarios, turning the real drama into cultural lore. Ultimately, the walk-off became a symbol of asserting personal boundaries in public spaces, reminding everyone that even icons have limits. It highlighted how words, even from well-intentioned hosts, can wound deeply when they touch on core identities. Both women emerged with their reputations intact but forever linked by this charged encounter that captivated audiences worldwide, approximately 2,485 characters. Looking back on the explosive moment, the Salma Hayek walk-off stands as one of the most memorable clashes in modern talk show history, blending raw emotion with broader societal debates. What began as a routine celebrity interview morphed into a powerful demonstration of conviction under pressure. Salma's decision to leave mid-conversation was not impulsive rage but a deliberate act of self-preservation, protecting her narrative from being reframed dismissively. The fiery accusation that triggered it, questioning whether advocacy sometimes veers into exaggeration, exposed fault lines in how women's experiences are received in entertainment media. Kelly's role as host required stirring conversation, yet the delivery landed as invalidation, prompting Salma's principled exit. The audience's mixed reactions mirrored wider divisions: admiration for boldness versus discomfort with confrontation. In retrospect, the event forced reflection on interview ethics, how far hosts can push without crossing into harm. It also amplified Salma's message, turning a potential negative into a platform for deeper discussion on ageism, racism, and sexism in Hollywood. Years later, clips still circulate, often resurfacing during awards seasons or when similar controversies arise. Salma continued her multifaceted career, starring in acclaimed projects and championing underrepresented voices, while Kelly evolved her hosting to include more listener-driven segments. The incident became a cautionary tale for producers and a rallying cry for guests to prioritize dignity. It proved that authenticity, even when messy, resonates more than polished facades. Neither woman lost stature. Instead, both gained nuance in public perception, Salma as unapologetically fierce, Kelly as willing to grow from missteps. The walk-off reminded the world that celebrities are human, with breaking points shaped by years of navigating unequal systems. In the end, it was less about who was right and more about the courage to walk away when respect falters. The legacy of that intense day on the Kelly Clarkson Show endures as a pivotal cultural moment, illustrating the complexities of fame, feminism, and live television. Salma Hayek's exit, sparked by what she perceived as a stinging accusation undermining her lifelong fight against discrimination, became emblematic of empowerment through boundary setting. It sparked countless think pieces exploring why women in power face scrutiny differently, how talk shows balance entertainment with substance, and the role of audience complicity in amplifying drama. Social media kept the conversation alive, with users creating timelines, analyzing body language, and debating accountability. Some called for boycotts, others for unity, but most agreed the exchange revealed uncomfortable truths about intersectional challenges in entertainment. Salma's poise during departure, head high, no dramatic slamming of doors, earned respect even from skeptics, contrasting with more volatile celebrity outbursts. Kelly's immediate on-air response and later reflections demonstrated maturity, preventing the incident from defining her career negatively. Over time, both moved forward stronger. Salma with renewed focus on producing inclusive stories, Kelly with enhanced sensitivity in interviews. The episode itself, when rebroadcast or clipped, continues to draw views, proving controversy's staying power. It also influenced how future guests prepare, with many now setting clearer parameters pre-interview. Ultimately, the fiery accusation and subsequent walk-off transcended personal beef, becoming a mirror for society's ongoing struggles with listening versus judging, advocacy versus skepticism. It showed that true change often begins with uncomfortable moments where silence is no longer an option. Salma's stand, though brief, echoed far beyond the studio, inspiring others to speak truth even when the spotlight burns hottest. In the annals of celebrity television, few moments capture such raw authenticity and lasting impact.